Okay, we'll see how long this one is. These will look better than I did yesterday. I got the light on so I can see. So, the solution I came up with, that person that kept talking BS on Threads, I blocked them. I don't need people doing that. I mean, you can say whatever you want about me. Don't say nothing about my grandkid. You know, because she's 2 years old, she can't fend for herself. So, I made sure I blocked the guy. So, if I have to, if I have to stop this video abruptly, you know why, because, the mailman ain't the real mailman, so this will end up being a short if that's not the right one. Because he usually sits there and talks to Chris all the time. So as I told you yesterday, we are moving in with the kids somewhere in Texas. So I have to keep my video intake a little bit less than normal. I might have to walk the property and talk or something, or go out on the balcony and do it. I don't know if she's going to be still staying at home doing the job she's doing now, or if she's got another job lined up and it's going to be outside the house, and that's going to be really traumatic for the baby because she's going to be so used to have mom at home. Right now Gary's at home too, but he's looking for another job. He did have a job lined up for Arizona, but we couldn't get there. So here it is, July, and we're still here in this apartment. So, like I said, I have opinions about things. Maybe somebody doesn't agree, but that doesn't mean you go after my grandkid, okay? Stick to it towards me, okay? I can handle it. Sticks and stones break bones, but names don't hurt. I'm not, a little girl, and I can stand up to most people putting me down, and they do. I get a lot of people putting me down. They look at because of my age, they look because of the way my body's shaped. Well, yeah, I had 4 kids, so naturally, I'm not going to be skinny like I used to be. I'm not going to have clear skin like I used to be either, because I'm an older woman now. I'm a senior citizen now. I tend to have my own opinions, and they may not, I don't know how to explain, they may not be of somebody else's opinion, and that somebody else may not like my opinion, but we can have our opinions. Everybody feels different about certain situations. Let's just say, I thought I heard somebody run up. I know he don't run up the stairs, but you never know. Depends on if he's in a hurry or not. But I mean, it's a beautiful day today. I mean, there's not a cloud in the sky that I can see, except for little sunshine clouds. I just, it just hit me when I saw all that stuff. And he kept doing it. That's what gets me. This person that kept saying off the wall stuff, like calling my father a pedophile, calling my grandfather that, calling my granddaughter, a 2-year-old, mind you, a prostitute. This is kind of bull crap I was getting. So naturally, I blocked him. I mean, Threads, you're a little more exercised. You can speak your mind a little bit more, but, I'm not going to put up with stuff going towards my granddaughter. you know. And I know, better about my father and my grandfather, you know. Yeah, I went through some problems with a family member I'm not going to mention because that person is now dead and can't speak for themselves. So I won't put him in a conversation. But I dealt with it. I got what I needed to get, like the, you know, therapy and everything, which I did. Came later on in life, but I did. And I'm completely fine now. I mean, I've been with the same person for 30 something years. See, my son will be 37, so it's been 31. It'll be 32 in November. Since we've been like married. We've been together for 37 years. But married part, which it's not registered marriage, it's a common law, but we had a priest, and not a priest, but which I wish I could have had a priest come in there, or I had my cousin call, because I have a cousin that's a priest. But we had a minister coming in, and it was right before my mother passed away. So we did that on June 1st. And my son was like, 4, maybe 5 actually, because it was in June, and that following November is when my mother passed away. So we kind of wanted to do something like that for my mom to see, So we did it then. But like I said, it's not a registered marriage. That's why I still have my last name, and my spouse has his. But we've been together long enough. I mean, we have grandkids. We're gonna have generations connected to us, But in the long run, everything's fine. I mean, he drives me nuts. I drive him nuts. It's part of the relationship, But going back to that guy, I couldn't believe he did that. I mean, noticing it's a picture of a 2-year-old girl, and he says that about her, That little girl doesn't know what that is. She doesn't know what a relationship like that is. She's only 2, For all I know, she probably don't even like boys yet. The only person in her life that's male is her daddy and her grandpa. That's the only male people in her life. So, I mean, tell me what y'all think. Would you put up with it? I mean, I would have wanted to go through my phone and grab that man by the scruff of his neck and say, you don't say that about kids. Kids are off limits when it comes to battling and debating like that. And I don't throw nobody's kids into argument online. I mean, it's ridiculous. That's one thing. And it's not right to do that because they're innocent, I mean, that little girl isn't even potty trained yet. They're trying to potty train her. They got her to where they're working with her, but it takes time. And, for a grown-up to say that about a child, something must be really wrong with his mind to even think that. And the way he said it is like, I mean, to say he was done with my granddaughter who's only 2 years old, that means he's a pedophile. So I blocked him, I reported him. We'll see what Thread does, because Thread's not like Facebook. It's hooked into Facebook, but it's not like Facebook. It's more freer where you can, where people can post their opinions without worrying about it being sanctioned or cut off, deleted, or whatever you want to call it, But there's one thing I can't abide by is anybody that hurts a child. And they ought to be, you know, prosecuted to the full extent of the law. You know, something needs to be done because this is getting to be an epidemic. There's so many pedophiles out there, and I'm not saying they shouldn't be allowed to live because they're human beings, but they have a sick thing in their head, and I don't understand it. You know, children are supposed to be cherished, you know, and raised carefree without a worry in the world. And there's some that have to go through all this pain and stuff, and I don't understand that. I can't, you know. I mean, I went through it myself, but it wasn't anybody like my father or anything. It was, you know, it was a family member, and I can't understand how they think that's good for a child to have to go through, you know, and may have suffered the trauma every time. So, you know, something needs to be done about the pedophile part. Hopefully they'll find a solution to where these pedophiles don't have the feelings again once they go through a program, but that ain't gonna happen because they're sick in the head, you know. But we shall see in the future what the future holds, you know. But like I said, you know, to go after somebody that you don't know, for one thing, and you're calling their family members this and that, and you've never met these people, and you're blurting that kind of stuff out, that's disrespectful. And you know, believe me, if my grandfather was here, my grandfather would have took care of that man real quick, especially after that last little thing he sent about my granddaughter. So that's why I blocked him. That way he can't go on mine and say all those awful things. And I can still go and, you know, make my opinions or agree with somebody's opinion or, you know, share a picture or something. Because I like sharing pictures. I don't mind sharing pictures. I want people to know that, you know, you never know who you might run into. That's how I found my cousin. I mean, I have a cousin that lives in Phoenix. I didn't know she lived there, and she's my Uncle Teddy's daughter. And I found her, not through Threads, but through Facebook. But, you know, it was through her brother too, because I got her brother on there. So I've got 3 of my cousins that I know of. Plus nieces and nephews, and adopted nieces and nephews, and adopted brothers and sisters, and my own brother, the one that talks to me. But, you know, hey, what can we say, you know? This world's as beautiful as the world is, there's a screwed up part of this world too. So, tell me what you think about me. Was it a good idea to block that man? I think so. Anyway. Thanks for watching. I shall be back in the next video. I don't know when. I can't promise tomorrow because the mailman may not be here. And we got summer going on now, so hopefully by next year, though, we will all be back in California. And that's where I want to go. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Whenever. You guys have a good day, and, you know, comment if you want to, and subscribe if you like me yakking, and, you know, I'll show you what my apartment looks like. This is my apartment. Guess what it used to be? It used to be a motel. It used to be like a Motel 6. So, there's that. But they turned them into studio apartments. Anyway, see you in the next video. Bye, guys.